if you can introduce yourselves.
I'm Linda Geers.
I'm Michael Geers.
And these are the owners of Art by the Sea, which is located in Devonport, New Zealand. And this is considered Auckland proper, or?
We're part of Central Auckland, really, aren't we? North Shore,
North Shore
but on the map, we're North Shore City.
North Shore City. And I have had the distinct pleasure of meeting both of you and getting to know you through what I'm calling this video is Christina Got Served, which is a term that is based off a movie about dancing, where I got taught a great lesson. So now I'm here, and thanks of both of you for teaching me a beautiful lesson. So if you can help teach that lesson to the world, that would be great. Because yesterday I received an email from your husband, and he said that and we can discuss this if you would like, you got involved in the gallery, or you wanted to change the world when you were younger, and that's part of the reason why. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I'm trying to remember the content of that email, but I think part of it was referring to my youth as being an angry young man. A lot of men of my age, I'm 52, could possibly identify with that in the 70s and the 80s.
Probably now too, actually.
There were a lot of angry young men then, musically, stylistically, and what have you. Anyway, but no, we did not get into the gallery because of that. I started a business with my best man from a wedding, and it was a corporate business. Well, it started off as a very simple business, but then it became very serious. We started it off as a joke. We both got drunk in a pub one night and said, hey, why don't we do this? And 16 years later, the joke wasn't funny anymore. And our relationship, sadly, suffered as a result. And I turned 40 and I guess, followed that path of getting burnt out in the corporate world. Felt a huge amount of pressure to pay a mortgage, bringing up children, being responsible for a lot of staff and their lives, and working in an environment that just had no soul. I was still very creative, but the kind of things I was asked to do, I didn't believe in.
It's a graphic design business.
I was working for companies that were ethically the complete opposite of what I believed in, yet I had all this responsibility, so I justified, or I turned a blind eye to the sort of stuff I was advertising and promoting. And then you get involved in relationships with clients and you see the sort of different, darker side of people, and you find out that after a while you become so sanitized, or it sanitizes itself or something, that you just justify everything in the pursuit of
survival,
paying the mortgage and making sure that staff can pay their mortgage, and that people can remain employed, and all of this righteous stuff. And really what you're doing is you just don't believe in it. So I got burnt out at the age of 40, and I just woke up one day and couldn't do it anymore. My job was in the city, and I went to work as normal, but I didn't. I caught the ferry over to Devonport and walked on to the beach. And my partner rang my wife and said, he hasn't showed up for work.
Should we ring the hospital? And they said, no, I'm sure he's fine. I think I would know if there were anything wrong. And he hadn't been happy at work for a long time. And 3 hours later or something, he rang me and said, I'm not at work. I'm on Cheltenham Beach, because we lived in Mount Eden then in the city, and I'm not going back.
It's pretty badass.
And that was me. I was about 6 months
6
pregnant
months
with our
pregnant
third
with our
child.
third child.
Looked down at my stomach and went, great. And we'll have to sell the house. We won't be able to afford the mortgage. I said, okay, fine. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and that's whatever we do, we'll do together. But you did end up going back.
I went up back for a short time to try and help my partner through it, because I had a responsibility to him, and he was going through stuff himself, and I felt, I needed to hang in there to help him get to the place where he could buy me out, and we could at least, leave with something. And it took another couple of months, but eventually it did.
A couple of years, actually, before you finally left.
Well, okay, I did end up leaving, and we did end up losing the house.
And you ended up with nothing, financially really, or not much.
Well, it was another story. And we got this gallery by foot, because we were going to start a gallery over near where we lived. And the lady at the business association, we went to meet, and she said, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not ready for a gallery here. But I do know a gallery that's for sale, and it happened to be out by the sea.
And the lady who owns it is very nice. You
Yep.
should talk to her and just see if she has any suggestions, or see what that's like.
So we came over here and we ended up buying this gallery. And we ended up taking on quite a lot of problems. Where we're sitting, within the first week of having bought this gallery, the ceiling collapsed and raw sewage came tumbling down onto the artwork.
Well, it was from the
Dishwasher, the waste disposal unit and the dishwasher from upstairs. So for 3 weeks afterwards, we had to make do with construction around here and the place smelling of dead fish.
Oh dear.
It was quite devastating.
So it was a trial by fire.
We had to crawl under the scaffolding to make it fine. So it was like this high, and it was right out through the gallery, and we couldn't close because we put all our money into buying it, and we had to keep open because we didn't know about loss of income insurance at that stage. But we got through that somehow.
And what day did you open? Of what year?
7th of February 2001.
2001. Wow.
7th of February, because it was my birthday. That's why I remember that.
Yeah. Just so happened the change of ownership happened on that date, so it was quite neat.
This gallery really shouldn't be standing still. The amount of things that has happened to this gallery it just shouldn't be existing. We've suffered a drunk naval rating, drove through the front part of the gallery and did $60,000 worth of damage, smashed the entire place up with after the second earthquake.
There was an earthquake here?
Earthquake in Christchurch.
Ah.
So the earthquake in Christchurch was devastating, and we had a number of artists and people that we were connected to who were involved in that earthquake. But we got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning to come down here, and one half of the gallery was completely destroyed.
Looked like a bomb had gone through it, because he'd smashed through the window, and there was glass from one end of the gallery to the other, and he'd smashed a whole lot of new glass that I'd just put on display the day before. And he nearly killed himself, and he took the outside post, which is cast iron, and hit that, and it flew through the gallery like a javelin,
Oh,
and
wow.
impaled itself in the middle of the floor there, and it took 3 guys to get it out of the ground because it was stuck in the floor. And just so much broken sculpture and glass damaged, glass had just hit so much work, and it was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2.5 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years now.
Then we got attacked by social media through no fault of our own, through the actions of somebody else. We were misrepresented through social media, and then verbally and through social network and all sorts of variety, and television, media. We had threats on our lives, on our daughter's life, and
abusive emails did we get, and abusive
horrendous,
texts,
all because of a mistaken identity.
So wait, hold on for a second. Let me, before